You're still watching TVC Breakfast. We now go to this very important conversation. Now, with the 2027 general election still months away, the Independent National Electoral Commission is setting the stage for a smooth process. INEC has begun engaging security agencies across the country, focusing on early coordinations, election safety, and lessons from previous polls. Now, the Commission says early planning is key to preventing violence, protecting voters, and ensuring credible elections when Nigerians head to the poll in 2027. INEC Chairman Professor Joash Amopita also said elections can't be credible if voters feel unsafe to participate. Joining us for the conversation is our very own in-house analyst, Mr. Biodun Shomi. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
Good morning, I'm fine, thank you.
A very, very important conversation, because it's on the lips of every Nigerian as we speak. All of them are speaking about the fact that, how do we get credible elections in 2027? Like Joash Amupiton has said, it's very important for people to believe that they are going out to vote and they are safe. Their safety is very important. Just before you came on, I was telling Olamide that the Electoral Offences Commission, I think, is something we need to put out there, like to staple it out there that if you commit that vote buying, taking ballot boxes and running away, you will be brought to book. What are we doing with that particular one? And also, Mr. Biodun, how are we preparing in terms of security for the 2027 election?
Well, when it comes to election, there are different issues that could create security problem. One is not just the issue of politicians trying to gain advantage, by using unorthodox means like thugs or party agents. You also have the issue of the candidates themselves. When a candidate loses election and then says, oh, don't sign the results, and then you now come back and dispute the same results when in reality that candidate, the polling agent, was actually acting on your behalf. And of course, you create some tensions outside. No, I didn't sign the results. There'll be problems left, right, and center. And of course, you have the general apprehension of voters over fairness. Because many voters thought elections must be 100% accurate and perfect. No, but that's not what the law says anywhere in the world. I mean, it's just about whether it conforms, with the acceptable democratic norms, which is free, largely free and fair, and then, so you have a lot of issues around that. I can give you a good example, for instance, on the issue of
exactly
the thugs and people hijacking election results.
Exactly.
We have gone past it a bit.
Please hold your thoughts for me. Please hold your thoughts for me. We will go on a quick break, and when we come back, we're still talking with this very important conversation. A guest will join us for it, so don't go anywhere. Just stay with us. We'll be right back. You're still watching TVC Breakfast. Now, joining us for this conversation is Razak Olokoba, convener of Campaign for Dignity in Governance. Thank you so much for joining us. Good morning. Before you came in, we were talking to Mr. Biodun Shomi and just speaking about how important it is, for security to take center stage for the 2027 elections. We see what is happening with the Electoral Act reforms. There's been back and forth. But in your opinion, what are the things you think we need to put in place to make sure that 2027 is credible? Just as Joash Amupiton has said, that people must go out and vote and they must feel safe voting.
What INEC is doing at the moment is very commendable, and that's engaging all the stakeholders. It made the news that the decision is discussing with the security agencies, but it's not only limiting to that. About 3 weeks ago, it also engaged the civil society. I know that in its timetable, you'll be talking to other sectors too, and that's very commendable.
That's right.
You see, this preemptive measure that INEC is taking is good. We assume that the peculiar challenges we have at each stages of our life will go before election, but it didn't go. So now that they're addressing it earlier, it's better. When Obasanjo was around, it was Niger Delta militancy. So in that region, we felt before that time, the derivation formula, which is 13% derivation from the oil, will have been sorted out. But it didn't happen until the election Yar'Adua came on board, and it actually affected the outcome of that election. So when Jonathan Buhari were there, the challenge in the north and Syria is ugly head, and also in the east. So now that it is gather more momentum now, we have challenges in almost all the regions now. So it needs to sit down with security agencies to define measures to ensure that people are not actually enfranchised. It's very important. And the earlier it begins, the better. What we need to do is to build a barricade around INEC. This is not the time to start saying INEC is not doing. For INEC, in the last 15 years, it's been doing a very commendable job. Over 100 million are registered now. To come out and vote is not the duty of INEC alone, but its own duty as a primary institution that has to coordinate the electoral issue is INEC. It's brought on board over 100 million people. So for all other sectors, to particularly the one in the front burner now, the security agencies must ensure that there's a collaboration between INEC and the logistic operations of that day. Because when we engage INEC, the area of concern for us as a civil society is the logistic, the origin. If you are going to begin to look at the vehicle you'll be using now with NURTW, the Richard, there's no state that does not have logistic and origin outfit. So you need to begin to look at them so that before the day, we will have known the state of the vehicles that you'll be using, the one that will carry the security personnel, the vehicles that will carry the ballot papers and other materials for election by now. So that preemptive measure is very important. And I know what I've mentioned are the things INEC is actually looking at. You see, for people to come out to vote, we can't leave it to INEC only. The center of it is the political party. It's your duty to come and advertise the product you have to the people. Yeah. If they don't come out, that means your product is not good.
That's right.
So the political party also has a role to play in that regard. And that's why I'm saying that all hands should be on deck. We must complement what INEC is doing. We have to go around, the political party has to go around all those states and embolden the people that there's an umbilical cord that links your prosperity with your ballot. So there's no excuse for you not to determine the direction of your life. That's right. This is voting. Yeah. So I think we have to commend INEC for what they are doing.
Mr. Olokoba, we saw November 8, 2025 as a litmus test for Joash Amokuitan, Professor Joash Amokuitan, and then we saw what came out. Everyone was happy. At the end of the day, majority of Nigerians and even Anambra persons were also happy. And I do not know how we always do it. Back in the day, the 2023 general election, the election before 2023 general election, now we're having larger security attacks, where in places where we never recorded, this kind of, magnitude. Do we have that collaboration for? Is there anything we do differently, that we do not have something like that during election, except for politicians causing problem for the election? So in 2027, how are we so sure that we will not be over-militarizing the election milieu for the Nigerian people?
No, so I need to say something that, you see, don't compare my situation with your situation. I don't have one wife. I have two wives.
That's right.
You have only one wife. So if you are assessing family issues... In
reality, actually.
In reality, yes. If you are talking about family issues, we won't be on the same page. There are countries who have layers of security. Local security, local government security, forest security, transport security. In Nigeria, we have only one layer of security, which is the federal police. You militarize election, though. All our colleagues in the civil society, I said, you are misleading Nigerians. They will cite example of America. You can say, yes, go there. They sorted out the challenges they have in the architecture of their security. It's only I that is thinking about how to police 36 states of the federation.
But I think we have the NSCDC.
So that's what I'm saying. All of them have to be part of it. Even the military must be part of it. Until we got to a point where we have complementary institutions to assist the police. That's when you see, when the president is walking on the street, they say, why can't I said, no risk life for our president. Too. We have not gotten to a point where every high-rising buildings in Lagos had camera and high security patrol. I run a private security network. There should be collaboration. Any uniform guard must be able to collate intelligence report and submit to an entity who will pass it to the SS or the police. We've not gotten there. So, and that's when you see them walking on the street. They have sorted out all challenges that can arise. You see Trump, the first bullet was the one the guy was able to shoot. It was only the first bullet. They took him out immediately. So, in Nigeria, you say Tinubu should go and stand up in the place and please don't. So, for our election too, we can't risk the assumption that some other people are working freely in the day of the election. We are just getting there. When we do the needful, and between now and the election time, I don't see us doing say, state police, local police. So let's militarize our election such that the image of election we are going to hold is what going to determine the impression of Nigerians about INEC and about who wins that election again that will become the president next year. If it is a rickety election, it's going to be condemned all over the world. So whatever INEC needs to do, if you need to deploy policemen, deploy NSDC and all sorts of things, deploy it. Don't listen to the whispers of political class. They whisper into our ear. They whisper to the rest of the civil society. They say militarization. Whereas they know that the reality of ground is that until we are able to sort out certain things, there are elections that will continue to hold in the way it is being held in Nigeria today, because the method of doing the election at the rest of the world,
absolutely,
which is electronic and all of that, is see when we go to the point, and then it has its own challenges too. So we must go. We maintain this pace.
That's right.
You have to maintain this pace.
You mentioned something very important, which we cannot or nobody should sidestep: the whisperings of the politicians. We've seen it going on currently.
All right, yes.
About condemning the Senate. You have the NLC, who is the patron, of a political party, an opposition political party, saying, no, hell will let loose if you don't accept electronic transmission, live electronic transmission of results. But now, how many people have bothered to ask the question, which country in the world is doing that? I'll give you examples. Bangladesh, Pakistan introduced live transmission of election results. They had to back off when chaos engulfed the country back to manual compilation.
Yes.
Major democracies in the world, and I will name them: United States, Canada, Netherlands, UK, Spain, Portugal, Belgium, India,
China,
Thailand. Look, which one of them is doing electronic transmission of results? None. The fact of yes, they're doing manual compilation of results, including United Kingdom. So when we bring this issue, which had created problems in different countries, I can give you examples of two other countries. Venezuela is another country doing live transmission of results. Venezuela's election results have always been condemned as one of the worst in the whole world. Again, Brazil. In 2023, Brazil nearly went into a serious crisis over the results of the election. They did live transmission of election results. That was when President Bolsonaro was the president of Brazil before Lula da Silva took over. It was over this live transmission of election results. So there is no credible evidence anywhere in the world, apart from politicians whispering to create security issues, that doing live transmission of election results will create a fairer outcome. Yes. What we have rather is that countries backing away, like Pakistan and Bangladesh, from it, and examples of countries, going into chaos as a result of election, live transmission of election results. So given that situation, that is why, like the point you are making, the whispering of politicians matter. Is either you create the impression that the result of an election will not be fair simply because you think you are weak, or the result of the election will not be fair simply because you need to label the system so that you have something to blame, hold on to.
I know that's why. You see, when we were assertive on certain things that is about to emerge, particularly process that can lead us into crisis. When you and me, so I'm not discriminating now. I mean, people took part in sending the military back to the barracks.
That's right.
And fighting for Junta. When we
you came before, so it's
we knew what we went through.
That's right.
So we don't want anybody to paint a picture of another Junta for us. So anything that may lead to an election let's cancel this election, we will always oppose it. So, like he has said, all these countries that he has mentioned, they almost had a crisis before they back off. And if we do that, I know the political class in Nigeria, I know what they will say. They will be calling for interim national government.
That's right.
They will be calling for Tinubu to resign. Yeah. And that's the dark alley they want to lure us into. We will not agree to that. Because most of these people don't know the price everybody pays for democracy. And that's why they are toying with it. And you know, what thing the INEC needs to do with security agencies and National Assembly and the conscience of every Nigeria is the social media. There's a way that you need to, there was a conference that held in Kwara recently about social media, which has to do with security situation, that the way it's been escalated. And in the conference, the practitioners, they are trying to curb unprofessional people because they are taking your jobs away. The social media. Absolutely. Somebody who read something in soil and something, and is in the media already. Yeah. And the ethics of the profession is being thrown away. So the coming election, something must be done to the people who aggravate issue in the social media, because you see someone who read the course I read management, and you'll be talking about anatomy because he read one manual somewhere, arguing with doctors. So experts in the media should collaborate with the INEC also to educate our society, particularly the younger element that society is evolving. And whatever we are doing today, the result of it is going to come on your head tomorrow. So to that extent, we need to support INEC to be able to succeed. The security agencies, they have to pull their hair too. Yeah. That what you have been doing in the last 2-3 elections, the last election, they did well. The presidential election, the one before that, they did well. They need to sustain that image. Everybody needs to sustain that image that the police officers, NSCDC, who are going to take part in that election, should be very, very neutral.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I like what they did recently with the assertive that...
Quick one, I'll just add, because we don't have time, quick time. I just want to ask you some direct questions. So do you think that the live transmission of the results is not going to work in Nigeria, yes or no? And then I'll give you a follow-up.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous. Okay, so you believe that it's dangerous.
The issue is where has it
then secondly, we have Akpabio that came out, the Senate President that came out to say that, it may not happen because, we have over 9 states that do not have internet access, no technology. And then we have the youth.
That's what makes it dangerous.
And then the youth on social media are saying that if you've identified the problem, why don't you bring up a solution?
Between now and that time.
So a solution can happen, but it's the time frame we're looking at.
Yes. These are the youth that we have all told repeatedly that join us in calling on your governors to do power in your state, to bring up and let them have that.
That means it's possible. It's just the timing.
It's just the timing, yes. It's just the timing. Okay. And between now and that time, when this election goes on right now, we begin our advocacy that society works as an umbilical cord. If you want INEC to be fine, the power sector should be fine, security institutions should be fine. But we limit our attention to INEC should be fine without considering other factors that can aid the work of INEC.
That's right.
Wow, I wish we could go on and on. This is such a beautiful conversation, but unfortunately our time will not let us. Thank you so much, Mr. Razak. Thank you so much, for giving us a lot of insights on this particular topic. But still to come on TVC Breakfast, we will look at how Electoral Act amendments could shape the future elections and the democratic system in the country. Don't go anywhere. Just stay with us.